Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure for me to interact with you all today in this forum. Initially, I had thought that I would talk about value and relevance of children's literature. But then the thought of talking about human-animal relations in children's literature came to my mind, and I thought if I get an opportunity to share my views on the same, I would also be indirectly bringing the relevance of children's literature and the values for the same to the childlike, innocent, and gentle people like you all. Being childish in the language of complacent adults is being foolish. But being childlike is a virtue because it denotes innocence and hope. A child is an unspoiled global citizen, and the world of children, until the adults color it, remains peaceful and in harmony. Their world is a world where anything can happen in imagination, and their glide from the imaginative to the real and from the real to the imaginative is smooth and spontaneous. Before I go into my presentation, I will show you two small video clips to initiate you all in this childlike world.
I don't want to eat them ever again.
Oh, do you think, so what will you eat instead?
I will eat whatever there's on the table, but not chicken or meat.
Why do you think you don't want to do that?
Because they're animals and I like animals.
So what will we do if we miss eating chicken and meat?
I don't miss eating chicken and meat.
How about fish?
Fish?
Yeah.
Fish? Is it an animal?
Yeah.
I won't eat that either.
Oh my God, so what?
I won't eat animals!
Okay. So what do you want to eat? What kind of food do you want to eat?
Anything's on the table, but not animals.
Why do you feel sorry for animals?
Because they're nice, and I know that we cook them sometimes, which is not very nice, and I know we like to eat animals that we cook, but that's not nice for them.
Yeah, do you think they suffer?
I think that they don't really like being cooked in the oven.
हाथीला जा बोल बोले सूंढीला करका चले मेले घर भी आओ ना हलवा पूरी खाओ ना हाथी बैठा कुर्सी पर कुर्सी बोली चटर पटर thank you.
In the course of my brief presentation, I will talk about anthropomorphism and what brings animals as key characters in children's literature, how humans see and depict human-like traits in animals in this type of literature, whether the animals in literature for the children are types, and if yes, why, and at the end I will talk about anthropocentric anthropomorphism. It is commonly agreed that children are hyperactive and full of inquisitiveness during childhood. To keep them positively occupied and also teach them what is good and bad have been key challenges for the parents, except the modern times when the mobile phones are doing this work as surrogate parents. Many a times, children ask blunt questions to parents which are difficult to duck, and many a times they ask questions which even the parents don't know the answers of. Maybe in good old days, literature for children would have been crafted with this point in mind. Stories that are easy to understand and at the same time encourage children to experience magical reality rather than the worldly reality were created. The idea of human-animal coexistence in anthropomorphic depiction was purposeful distortion of reality as is defined by Burke and Schopenhauer. Psychology talks about pareidolia, which is an ability of human beings to perceive human face and emotions in non-human objects. This has a clinical purpose as it helps the observer to process emotions of the observed even before one consciously processes the other details. Humans quickly conjure up human shapes and emotions in clouds, a cup of coffee, headlights of car, or clothes hanging on chair. Experiments conducted by Cato and Mugitani confirmed that infants quickly perceive the pareidotic humans' faces. As per them, sound and mouth association is critical source of information. While pareidolia is related to identifying faces, anthropomorphism is the broader projection of human characteristics to non-human objects or animals. Maybe the tradition of naming hurricanes and storms with human names started with this association. We have heard names of cyclones as Katrina, US 2005, Maria in Caribbean in 2017, and Nisarg, India in 2020. Maybe because of this, our artificially intelligent assistants speak in human voices, and we name them as Alexa, Siri, Cortana, and Sophia. Empathy is considered to be very essential for us to stay as social beings. Attribute of anthropomorphism helps us develop this trait during our childhood. Another reason why animals come in children's stories is the collective societal goal of mentoring children as global citizens beyond the bias of gender, race, color, and religion. Animals are animals, and not necessarily Gujarati animal, Indian animal, or Hindu animal, and thus they bring the aspect of universality, and the attributes then superimposed on these animal characters can be taken as universal attribute. Inclusion of animals in children's stories help children develop role playing, which is critical learning during cognitive upgradation. No wonder toy shops abound with teddy bear and such toys, who are then adopted as children by children for the role plays. Identifying harsh reality like death, murder, betrayal, or cunningness can be diluted if they are projected through the animal characters. Thus, we sing in Gujarati of Magar Biladi Khai Gayo, a crocodile killed cat, in a rhyme which actually means man attacking women if they venture out of home. Sher Khan, hunting after Mowgli, makes one beware of predators without having to associate humans with this risk. Animals or birds in children's literature allow children to act like adults and talk to them as in rhyme, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Or Mr. Bunny, won't you stop? Contact with wildlife on the pages of children's literature allows children to have fictional mobility and aesthetic novelty. Literature for children abounds with animal-human coexistence, right from the stories of Panchatantra to fables by Aesop, Alice in Wonderland, stories of Dolittle, Tarzan stories, or Ruskin Bond's grandfather stories, Gajpati Kulpati in Hindi, or Biplap the Bumblebee, and many other stories have human-animal coexistence. Even the most popular cartoon series in India, Chota Bheem, has this coexistence, where Bheem is helped by monkey Jaggu. In the jungle hospital, written by Saroj Mukherjee, animals trust Amma as animals trust Dr. Dolittle. And even a tigress brings her cub for treatment out of trust on Amma. Amma equates children of humans and animals the same. She once says, I had often given bitter medicines like this to your father when he was a boy. All children are alike, whether human or animal. She also emphasizes that animals killed by other animals in forest is okay. But humans don't have the right to kill animals. Sometimes the emotions and intelligence of animals is also contrasted with humans. So in the same story, Amma tells Gagan, you have seen how they reciprocate my love, Gagan. Human beings may forget love and affection, but they get from others, but animals never forget. They always remember and return the love you shower on them. These lines remind us of Polynesia telling Dr. Dolittle of how short-witted the humans are. I was thinking about people, said Polynesia. People make me sick. They think they are so wonderful. The world has been going on now for thousands of years, hasn't it? And the only thing in animal language that people have learned to understand is that when a dog wags its tail, he means, I'm glad. It's funny, isn't it? In animal farm, animals declare commandments which go as, no animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. No animal shall kill other animals. To talk about anthropomorphism used in this type of literature, we find some common conventions. Most animals wear human dress, like the description of the rabbit wearing waistcoat and carrying watch in Alice story, or rat in Ramdhari Singh Dinkar's poem, asking his wife to fetch for him umbrella, headgear and watch. चूहे ने जब कहा कि चूहिया छाता और छड़ी दो, लाया था जो बड़े सेठ के घर से वह पगड़ी दो. In a Hindi rhyme, बंदर की ससुराल, monkey is imagined as carrying stick in his hand and playing musical instrument. In Ruskin Bond's story, Monkey Trouble, Tutu, the pet monkey, messes up with cooking. Bond writes, Tutu often helped with the cooking, and when grandmother wasn't looking, added herbs, spices, and other interesting items to pots, so that we often found a chili in custard, or an onion in the jelly, or a strawberry floating in the chicken soup. Sometimes these additions improved the dish, sometimes they did not. Uncle Benji lost a tooth when he bit firmly into a sandwich which contained walnut shells. All the animals have relatable names with the sounds that they make. In Dr. Dolittle, we find names like Dub Dub the duck, Jip the dog, Gub Gub the baby pig, Polynesia the parrot, and Owl Tutu. Animals also talk in human language and use language that the target reader is associated with. Their names carry adjectives which show the abstract quality that is stereotypified with their species, like the crafty fox, the arrogant lion, Maharani the cow, the foolish rabbit, the timid rabbit, Akela the leader of the wolves, a wise owl, Babel the gallant pig, and hungry crocodile. Human relations like husband-wife, friend, enemy, siblings, superimposed on animals. In Ruskin Bond's stories, Chotu, advises his friends not to call a tiger but an uncle. He says, because it is unlucky to call a tiger, my father told me so, but if you meet a tiger and call him uncle, he will leave you alone. Some stories feature relations between gods and animals too. In All Creatures, Great and Small, written by Ruskin Bond, Ramu talks about folk tales. Many birds are sacred, said Ramu, as we watched a blue jay swoop down from the peepal tree and carry off the grasshopper. He told me that both the blue jay and god Shiva were called Nilkant. Shiv had a blue throat like the bird because out of compassion for the human race, he had swallowed a deadly poison which was intended to destroy the world. Keeping the poison in his throat, he did not let it go any further. Are squirrels sacred? I asked, seeing one sprint down the trunk of a peepal tree. Oh yes, Lord Krishna loved squirrels, said Ramu. He would take them in his arms and stroke them with his long fingers. That is why they have 4 dark lines down their backs from head to tail. Krishna was very dark, and the lines are the marks of his fingers. Animals carry human voices, and when interaction happens between humans and animals, the human voice stays patronizing. To conclude, human-animal world in children's stories help children develop empathy for coexistence and avoid egocentric outlook to the world. Stereotypical depiction of animals help children to understand and recognize people with their virtues and vices and prepares them for the real world encounter. Most importantly, in a contemporary society locked inside the home because of pandemic, children's literature establishes the bridge between human and the wildlife, not through the easy observation of Netflix or Discovery, but by taking pains to picture these animals depicted in the stories. Thank you very much. Namaskar.